Okay. You ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
All right,
Let's do it.
We've been rolling for like 2 minutes.
I was about to say, like, I know you hit record a while ago.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes, but it doesn't really start until it starts. Sometimes when we start, like, we just are bullshitting and then it's over 2 hours later or an hour later.
So
like,
hey, we did
sometimes like
podcast.
halfway through, like, oh yeah, we're gonna start the podcast. We're just having a personal conversation here.
I mean, that's what it is most of the time, right? Just like conversation.
Yeah, that's what's cool about having a podcast. It's like people jump in on our personal conversation. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. It's like people know us, but I don't know them. It's like a one-way friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in a negative way. One way as in I've never met almost everyone that listens, I don't know who they are. Yeah. And like they'll DM me and send me messages and stuff about like agreeing or disagreeing or relating or whatever they're going, like whatever their feelings are about whatever we're talking about. Like they know me. Like they talk to me like people. It's really cool. So if you're out there listening, please continue to do it.
Yeah.
It's just one of the weirdest things about starting a podcast. It's
like I don't know who you are, but that's exactly right.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever got a text message from somebody, but you don't have their number for some reason. And they send you a text message and it's not like, hey, it's like they send you a message like, oh, they obviously know me. Mm-hmm. Like this person, this is like very specific to me. I should know who this is. But it's just got like some gobbledygook numbers. You're like, who is that? You know? And then you have to be like, who is this?
Yeah, who dis?
Who dis? New number, who dis? But yeah, so that's what's like having a podcast is like I get a lot of text messages from people I don't have their phone number saved, and they talk to me like they're my buddies.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool. Yeah, I mean,
it'd be cool to be on the receiving end of that and be like, hey, I'm your buddy, but who are you?
Yeah, it is cool. I talk to people all the time on there. Like, you know, I'm usually on Instagram is what usually when people like will message me and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it is super weird. It is super. People are very, very interested in weird parts of my life. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why do you want to know about my personal life?
Because you just talked about it for like 2 hours.
That's true. Yeah, people are really, really interested in the singleness of me. You know, being 39 and single. We talk about that every once in a while. I try not to talk about it too much. Although we talk about like funny bad dates and like weird lady experiences I had.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, I had like a mass influx of feminine energy in my life, and I was like, whoa. I don't know if I'm ready for this or not. You know what I mean? So like we talked about that. So I got a lot of comments on that. Yeah. People talk to me.
People trying to give you dating advice.
Yeah. Or ladies trying to be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you live in Chicago.
You're really far away.
You're really far away from me. That's not going to work out. I mean, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Is that cool or weird? What if I went on a date with a podcast listener? Would that be cool or would that be creepy?
I would think that'd be cool.
Yeah,
because then you wouldn't have to spend the whole time talking about yourself because they already know you.
But like, just go back and listen to the back catalog. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it would be weird. It's not like I'm like creepily pursuing them. They're creepily pursuing me.
Yeah.
So like I'm the victim of creepyhood in this scenario.
I think I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I think I'm down with it. Hit me up, ladies.
Yeah.
Let's see what's up. I was trying to be resistant to it. No, I'm just kidding, but I'm not, but for serious. So yeah, that part's weird. And then one podcast, I was talking about Taoism. I really appreciate Taoism. The more I learn about it, it's really cool. It's like what we talk about in philosophy about innate intelligence and kind of like it's like the innate intelligence of the universe is basically what Taoism is. It's really cool. But one episode I was talking about that just because it was interesting. And I started talking about like when I was learning about the Tao, it kind of reminded me of what like the best version I've ever heard of as like the Holy Spirit. That's like in my head, I kind of correlated the two together. Mm-hmm. And I was just talking about how it was really cool, yada, yada, yada. I like the Tao, I like how these ancient people thought. I like Jesus. I like how he taught, you know, I kind of put it together. Yeah, it's just kind of like thinking out loud, you know, and I didn't get a lot. I got one angry troll. He was very mad that I mentioned the Taoism and Jesus in the same sentence together. Oh, okay. It was really weird, man. He was like, you got to repent and all this stuff. And I was like, first of all, you repent for things. I didn't do anything wrong. All I just said is like the way that these ancient folks are looking at the universe is way better than we do. They're not trying to destroy it and like work with it. And I was like, and Jesus is awesome.
Yeah.
And then that was weird, man. I was like, whoa, man, that was the weirdest hate thing that I've gotten from doing the podcast.
Yeah. I can imagine you get some for that, but I feel like that'd be cool. See, that to me, like I don't know. As a Christian, I love hearing about other stuff from outside because sometimes other people's perspectives on like, you know, how they view the world and things can actually help you to not kind of be a douche.
Yeah, exactly. So you basically are just saying exactly what I was realizing at the time. I was like, oh shit, this is awesome, man.
Yeah.
This isn't like, I didn't know what it was, but I just kind of got into it. But yeah, I'm the same way. I love learning about ancient religions I think they're more connected to like the Earth.
Yeah.
You know, back then they could actually look up and see the stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So, you know, and now we're so disconnected from everything. I think we lost a lot of our, I was going to say animalism. That's not the right word, or humanism, or like, you know, like just realizing that we are one with the planet. Like, you know, we all live here together and, you know, in harmony. Like we need plants so they can breathe out oxygen. They need us so we can breathe out CO2, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. That stuff's in the Bible. Like it talks about it, like right in the beginning. It's like God said, you have dominion over the earth. In other words, you take care of it. It's your home. Like do good to it. It's, you know,
I don't think we've done the good job of that.
No.
Yeah. Cause I don't think, if you YouTube, like put like water pollution, you could just see like going on right now. I know off the coast of Florida, there's some weird stuff going on. There's just like these giant tubes. They're not tubes, giant pipes. If you're not watching, like I have my arms really big. It's like one of those, like a really big silver tube, and it's going to the ocean, and there's just like this shit coming out of it. It's just like it's
just into the water.
Yeah, man, it's a YouTube video I was watching. So like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I got a different topic. But yeah, I got a lot of hate just because I brought the two things up. But it was just some dude, you know. I shouldn't really pay attention to the stuff that people send in. But I think it's, you know, I don't get that many messages, so I can still look at everything if I wanted to. It's not like it's like off the charts or anything. But it did kind of rub me the wrong way.
Yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I was just like, get off me, Bible thumper, man. Like, I was just talking about how cool Jesus was.
Yeah, trust me, I'm fine. Like, you don't need to hit me with the Bible.
Yeah, like, I'm good, man. Like, you know, I'm good. It's like, are you living right? The people that are always hitting people with the Bible or any, whatever book it is, I'm always like, how you living? How you living right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just the fact that you're judging me right now means you're breaking some words in that book you're hitting me with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I said that to somebody one time. They got very upset. They kindly did that. But I was like, wow.
Yeah,
man.
I imagine not.
I was like, you kind of suck right now as a human.
That, and they're just like making all the other Christians look bad.
Yeah.
You know, just like out there, literally bashing somebody who just said Jesus is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. That's just some of the weirdities of the podcast, but it's pretty cool. So what's going on? Sarah's not here right now.
Yeah.
She's doing stuff. And then 2 weeks ago, I had the stomach butt disease where everything that was part of me came out of my stomach and my butt. No, it came out of my mouth and my butt at the same time. Yeah. So that was happening. So last week, 2 weeks ago, I was out of commission. This week, Sarah's taking a vacation. We miss you. So I got my main man, Dr. Zach here. Dr. Zach.
What up?
Dr. Zach Van Buren.
Yeah, there you go. Or Z Van B.
Z Van B, baby. So we got it, man. Yeah. So when I first met you, when I heard of you, I was like, your name is not hard. No. Zach Van Buren. But if I said it with any type of speed, like just a little bit of speed, it was Zach Van Buren. Like, you know what I mean? It
comes
just,
out funny.
Yeah. Just like my southern mouth just said, fuck that.
That's what it was like anytime I went to the Manchester office, like where, you know, it's a small town out there and people just don't understand my name. I even try to say it slow, but they would just blur it all together into so now they all call me Van Bam.
Van Bam, baby.
Dr. Van Bam.
I like Van Bam. I could dig on it. Mm-hmm. So what's your name, Dutch? Did you tell me your name was Dutch?
It is Dutch.
See, I would have went. Just when I heard Von, I was like, it's German.
I mean, there is Von in German name. I don't know the difference. I think when it's German, it's a lowercase v.
Ooh.
And when it's Dutch, it's an uppercase. I might be totally wrong. I have no idea. I don't even know what my name means.
I don't either.
Like, I just have no idea.
I Googled mine one time. And so my last name is Odom, O-D-O-M, right? And so I Googled it. I was just kind of wondering, like, the origin of my name. Someone was asking me, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So I Googled it, and one of the most common English is from England. And it's from derived from Oldham. The town of Oldham. So, like, if you say it with like a Oldham. That's how they say it. Like, Oldham. Yeah. Like, they probably said different, but it kind of got blurred into kind of like your name goes like, yeah, it turned from the town of Oldham with, you know what I mean? And then it got blurred into Odom. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. But then also, I got a patient one time specifically because they saw my name, right, in the internet or whatever, and they thought I was from, I believe, Kenya. It was somewhere in Africa. I'm pretty sure it was Kenya. Because apparently in Kenya it's a very popular name as well. So yeah, I could be Kenyan or English, but probably more English according to look at me.
What would yeah, he's not Kenyan.
Yeah. But like, so when I walked into the room, like to do the talk to her as like a new patient, I walked in, I was like, hey, what's up, I'm Dr. Odom? She was like, what?
Maybe like, nope.
Yeah, it was like, you hear like that skirt. And she looked at me, she was like, you're not what I thought. She said, you're not what I thought you were going to be. I was like, I'm everything you thought I was going to be. She started laughing, and then I was like, what are you talking about? And then she told me the story. She's from Kenya, and I think it's like a princely name. It means something with royalty. And I just remember that because I was like, oh, snap. Cool.
Would it sound the same like Odom?
You know, I don't remember that part. Talking to I asked her, but I can't remember. I was just kind of what does it mean? Because I was like, it just means like a town in England as far as the English derivation of it. But yeah, something to do with like royalty or something. Like, I don't know. And yeah, it's from Kenya anyway. So she came to the office just to see me because she was freshly here from Kenya herself. And so when I walked into the room, it was just like, skirt, skirt, skirt. And she's just looking at me. I was like, what's going on here? Like, what's happening, man? What did I do?
Did she stay? Was she happy?
Yeah, she was happy. I mean, yeah, she wasn't like, you know.
She thought she knew what she wanted.
Yeah. She got what she needed. But yeah, so that was, that's all I really know. I don't really know much about my past of like how I got here. I don't know any of the lineage or ancestral stuff. So I'm not sure. I just kind of popped up here. And all my family's either like dead or estranged. Like they're kind of like out there. So they don't know. They don't they don't know what's going on. So like I don't have like a family chain to like talk to and like walk backwards to kind of see where I come from.
Have you actually like looked into like ancestry.com and
man.
that stuff before?
Well, I want to. It sounds cool, but then someone told me that like, oh, you're giving the man your DNA. Like, you know,
the man.
Yeah, you give it. That's what. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, they're gonna get your DNA that way. And I was like, well, they probably already have my DNA.
Yeah, I was about to say they got it.
Yeah, I'm sure. If
there is a man out there, he's got your DNA.
There is a man. There is the man. But I was just like, oh, you're right, man. I don't want to do that. But then there's a part of me that would like to kind of like see the different, I don't know, is it nationalities or like countries you come from, or
yeah,
and you
like 40, your history and stuff.
And then like 40% this. They do it that way, don't they?
Well, that's when you do your mitochondrial DNA. So they can test your mitochondrial DNA and actually like see all the different percentages of what country you came from. That's the DNA test that I know about. The one where it follows your name just kind of can lead you through different people and be like, hey, this is what happened.
But Ancestry.com is the mitochondrial DNA, isn't it?
They might do that, but that's actually not the main use for it. Yeah, the whole point of Ancestry.com is to find specific people throughout your line, because it's Ancestry.com is run by the Mormon Church, and they're all about like figuring out who their relatives were and stuff, so they can like be baptized for them.
Really? Is it? I didn't know Ancestry.com was formed from the Mormon Church.
Yep, it's all them. They're the ones who put it all together, because they do baptisms for the dead, where basically if somebody never got a chance to become a Mormon, they can go to their temple and be baptized in that person's name, and basically wherever that person's at in the celestial kingdom somewhere will be like someone who walks up with a clipboard and says, hey, you're getting an opportunity to be baptized. Would you like to be?
That sounds like being the afterlife DMV. Like you're just kind of hanging out.
Just waiting in line.
Yeah, I'm like, man,
I hope somebody does it for me soon.
When's that going to fucking baptize me Mormon, man? Straight chilling here.
Pretty much. Dude,
Mormonism's crazy. Well, I guess all religions are kind of crazy, but it's crazy in the fact that like a 14-year-old boy created it.
Yeah, it was he was 14, I guess, when he did.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it sounds like a religion that was made by a 14-year-old boy. Like he found some gold plates that were only in a language that he can translate, and he's 14 at the time.
Yeah. Well, he couldn't translate them. He had to use a seer stone.
Yeah,
like
but
some magical stuff.
Yeah. It sounds like Harry Potter, man. Like if Harry Potter had like some gold plates that had some cool like hieroglyphics on it that he couldn't read, but then he had to go on another side mission, find the seer stone. They had to find someone to learn how to use the seer stone. Look through this magical thing that I'm assuming when you hold it in your hand, it like shakes and stuff.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but
he put it in a hat. He stuck it in a top hat. The guy who actually recorded all the stuff for him never saw the plates or the seer stone.
Yeah, because they don't fucking exist.
I mean, right. Like, I don't know about that. He's just like, I got my hat. I'm going to look into it. And he would just stick his head in the hat and then say all the stuff. The dude wrote it down. That was it. Dude,
I'm pretty sure that the Mormon Church is trying to get away from their origin story.
I think they are too. Because there's a lot to get away from. It's not even just with Joseph Smith, but with like Brigham Young and some of the other presidents and stuff who ran it. Cause there was a lot of like conflicting information and like weird stuff, like talking about the planet that God came from and the fact that like he had many wives and all this stuff to create spirit. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff.
That is crazy, so
man. They're just trying to, I think, slowly hope everybody forgets about that.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the South Park special about that? Was it South or the no? It was a Broadway show.
Yeah, there was a Broadway one.
It's called like the Golden. No, it's called Mormon.
Mm-hmm. I think it was it's the Book of Mormon.
The Book of Mormon. Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't see it, but I heard it was pretty rough.
I know. I've only seen clips of it, and it's just really hitting the Mormon church hard, not just for all the weird origin stuff, but also for like the stuff they try to hide, like the fact that they're super, super homophobic and also like real weird about ladies getting pregnant before marriage.
Okay.
Like they're like weird and they hide them in closets, stuff like that.
But guys can have like 7 wives.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
Oh, really?
Technically, yeah. Most like, I think there's like little sects and stuff of the church in places like that wouldn't associate with the big Mormon church anymore. But the official Mormon church, I think, they no longer, and they will say they no longer recognize like multiple wives or anything like that.
Polygamy?
Polygamy. Yeah. They only, it's all monogamy now. No stuff.
But just, I mean, if a 14-year-old boy was going to make a religion, it would involve gold plates, a magical seeing stone. I could have all the ladies. The ladies can only have one of me.
Exactly.
How else would how else would you do it?
That is the vision as a 14-year-old boy.
I mean, like, that's crazy, man. If you're Mormon, I'm not knocking on you. It's wild, man. But I need you to hit me up and be like, is that true? Like, what did the seer stone look like? Like, what did it do, man? In my head, it's green. It's like a Sith holocron, but it's like dark green. I have no idea why. Let's nerd out. Let's talk about holocrons. And then you hold it, and then like you like use some force or some Jesus juice on it or whatever they do.
Open up.
Yeah, it opens up on its own, and the fucking magic comes out.
Yeah.
There's another funny story where he found some. I think they call it the Book of Abraham.
Book of Abraham. Yep.
Yeah. He found it on some Egyptian tablet scrolls.
Yeah.
And then only he could translate it, and he translated it into the Book of Abraham. But then it's in a museum somewhere, and then they deciphered it with people who actually speak Egyptian, and it's like a recipe for embalming people.
Yep. Exactly. It's just like, here's how you embalm somebody.
Yeah, but how can you stay like, I don't know, man. Like if I was Mormon, I'd be like, oh man, I guess he was wrong on that one. He was just lying.
Honestly,
but stay Mormon.
Yeah, I've never had a chance to really talk to a Mormon. I'm sure the thing is they're around. They've been around for a while. They probably have things they would say to that. Like maybe they would say, "Oh, we don't actually know that that's what Joseph Smith had. We don't know for sure that's what he was looking at. He was probably looking at something different." I'm sure they would have some reason to justify that.
For sure, man. I need to get a Mormon, someone who's Mormon. If you're Mormon, you want to be on the show, let me know, because I would like to just ask them. I am picking on you because like I do. That's some of this is absurd. Like when you say it out loud, but a lot of stuff in all religions are absurd.
Yeah,
if you say it out loud.
There's absurd stuff everywhere.
Yeah. And who am I? What the fuck do I know? You know what I mean? I'm just some dude. Like, why would you? Like, I don't know what I know, but I would like to talk to him and ask him these questions and kind of see what the answers are. Like,
yeah, that's a good point. The only thing I've ever really gotten to talk to Mormons about is their interpretations of certain scriptures and things. But to be honest, I didn't get a whole lot of answers because at least the Mormon missionaries that I talked to were super good at like diverting me.
Ooh.
They were just like, they used some wordsmith and some magic to like, switch me off course.
You got Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
These are not the questions you will ask.
And nothing on them. They did a great job. Like I was.
Yeah. When I lived in a fancy neighborhood down here, the first time I lived in Columbus, and the Mormons, the missionaries always came at the same time of the week, same 2 dudes on a bike. You know what I mean? Yeah. They were so nice, but they knocked on my door and I answered because I knew they were more. I knew what it was. I didn't not answer, so I answered. They started talking. I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm not going to be rude to you, but like, I'm not interested in that. And they're like, okay, but I was like, I really said this to them. I was like, are you guys okay? And they're like, well, man, yeah, it's just, it's kind of hot. It's like, come on inside, man. They just came inside. I gave them like whatever, like water.
Just some water.
Yeah, whatever they want.
Cool off a little.
Yeah, but then they came I think it was just Friday. They came every Friday at like whatever time it was every week, and they just came inside. And we hung out with them for like 20 or 30 minutes or whatever, and then they were on their way the rest of the neighborhood or whatever.
They didn't like talk to you about anything? Or?
No. I should have
just chilling.
Yeah, I should have asked them questions. You know what I mean? But I wasn't as curious at the moment, and I didn't want to invite that conversation with them, right? Because like there's two dudes.
Yeah.
Going door to door, because that's pretty ballsy, especially nowadays. Like, anytime someone knocks on my door and like I don't expect someone, I'm always like
weird. Yeah.
I'm always like, what the fuck is that about? You know what I mean? Like, no one just shows up at the door anymore.
It's crazy.
So like, I can't imagine like the looks they get on their face, like knocking on the door. So I kind of regret that now.
Yeah.
I regret never asking those questions. I didn't really know a lot about Mormonism at the time, so I didn't really have any questions for him. I just was trying to be nice to him.
Well, now you know. If you're a Mormon missionary out there, come to his door.
I will let you. I will let you in before. Like
He's got questions.
I do have questions, but I guess that's the whole point of their work is to answer questions, right? So I would be your prime candidate. I'm not going to like switch to Mormonism by any means. I'm not switching to nothing, but so it's not a knock on Mormonism or anything. But I do have lots of questions.
Yeah, and you might be able to put to bed some of the terrible rumors that we're starting to spread about Mormon.
Yeah. So again, what do we know? But that stuff about the seeing stone, the magic tablets, all the other stuff we're talking about, that's all real. That's all what they say happened.
It is in the history, yeah.
Yeah, so that's factual.
Did you ever watch the you mentioned it, I don't know if you've actually seen it though, the South Park special about Mormonism? Oh
yeah, there was a special. Yeah, I did see it. Okay.
And that was like, I mean, obviously South Park's silly. They're making extra big fun of it, but like all the stuff they had in there was actually very factually correct in terms of the history.
I bet you they did that on purpose.
No,
so
they
could be like, hey, we didn't make that up. They're gonna be like, so what did you make up? None of it. None of it. We made fun of it, went overkill with all the stuff, but like all the things are real. Which makes it even like more absurd. Mm-hmm. Like when I was watching that documentary Going Clear on HBO, I talk about it on the podcast all the time. So if you're a weak listener, sorry, I'm like quadruple dipping on the subject, but I rewatched it a couple nights ago. I rewatched it, and that shit is fucking crazy. Like that's another religion where I'm just like, what is happening? Like,
I still need to check that out.
Oh yeah, you haven't watched that one yet. Oh yeah, I was like remember I was on a Scientology bender.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude.
That was like when we first met. You were just like, Scientology. It's cool.
It is cool, man. Like I don't want to be a Scientologist, but like it's so absurd.
What was it you told me the other day that came like directly from? Was it the AFC, the Affinity?
Oh yeah. The ARC.
ARC. That's it. Yeah. Affinity Reality.
Communication.
Yeah, communication.
In case you don't know what we're talking about, there is so in Scientology, this is how they bait and switch people, rope them in, entice them with their group or their cult. I guess they're a religion, but it's fairly culty. I mean, it meets the definition of a cult if you like watch all this stuff and listen to people. But in the beginning, it's really about improving your life, like communications, relationships, the way you think, like working through traumas in a positive way. So it's got a lot of really good shit in the beginning. You know what I mean? So
that's what I always knew about it. That's all I thought it was.
No. That's how they go. That's how they get you going. Like they get you going, right? And this is what the people on like the documentaries and the book. Going Clear is a book as well. I highly suggest you read it. Not you. Well, you too.
I mean, yeah. I need
anyone out there. I read it first, and then they made a documentary out of it. So that's like, but the book is way better. I mean, it's got way more stuff in it. But that's how they get you. They get you with the stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, I am doing better. I'm communicating better. My relationship, with my wife's better. Like my kids are happier. I'm talking. I'm not as sad. So like this is cool. And then they hit you with like a paywall. Like you have to pay to continue, and then they hit you with a paywall and a little bit of weird shit. But then you're like, yeah, that's kind of weird, but all this other stuff's cool. Then they get you kind of acquainted and kind of like just accepting the weird thing, and then there's like another paywall, and then some more crazy weird shit, and then that's how they rope you. That's how they get you in.
Yeah,
I think you have to be at like the 5th or 6th level before you get the origin story.
Yeah,
of creation.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
like where you get to the what was it? The alien?
Kinu, the galactic overlord. I'm not making that up. Xenu, the galactic overlord is the kind of the creator of this whole scenario of Earth. Apparently, there's like a whole bunch of humans scattered across the universe, and we were overpopulating planets. And then so what they did was, what they say This is real. This is like, it sounds like a science fiction story because it was written by a science fiction author.
I was about to say, didn't he do that?
Yeah. So yeah, this science fiction author that started a religion says that Xenu, the Galactic Destroyer, round up like these people like prisoners. This is a really cool. I would want to watch this movie. Like just part of this movie.
Like as an actual science fiction movie.
Yeah, as a movie. Yeah, I would love it. And then he takes them and they're like frozen in like these little pods or something. And then they have all these warships that come over Earth, which is the prison planet. And they drop all these little pods down, like some kind of, space pods or whatever. And then I don't know if all of them or if almost all of them, we'll say all of them to make it clean, fall into some volcanoes and shit. And then this is where it sounds funny saying that out loud. And then the volcanoes erupted and like blew all the people up. And then some of their bits, like their soul bits, that's not what they call them. They call them thetans. Thetans. That's like a soul bit.
Okay.
So like when a baby's born, a thetan enters, like a bit of that soul bit or the whole soul.
So they're just like floating around and then they just boop in the baby.
Exactly. And you can have one or thousands inside of you. Wow. Yeah. And
so if you got thousands inside of you, does that like make you how does that differ from somebody who's got like one?
I don't know, man. You have to pay like $250,000 to find that answer.
You're just extra cool.
Yeah, I don't know. So like they're like I know what happens. No, so what they do is then they try to like I don't know what the word is, clear it. They'll going clear. That's why they call it going clear. They're trying to clear off these thetans that they have on them over time. Yeah, trying to clear like these little bits of these.
Oh, so it's a bad thing to have all these thetans.
But apparently, yeah, you have to get them when you're born. They just float into you. They see you. They see you, and they're like, "Oh snap! There you go." Yeah, that's a real thing. That's what Scientology is, man.
You hadn't told me about that part before. That's
you didn't know about that?
No. You told me about Xenu.
Yeah. Well, what's weirder, Thetans or Xenu, the Galactic Destroyer?
It's all equally weird.
Okay, man.
Especially now that I know it's Xenu, the Galactic Destroyer. That's straight out of a Marvel comic.
Yeah, I'm like 90. I know it's Xenu. I'm 99% sure it's the Galactic Destroyer. Because I just recently rewatched it.
That's awesome.
And I remember making a mental note of like not ending there of God was Xenu as no Xenu the Galactic Destroyer. Like I made a mental note, like whatever it was. Like, oh shit, no, he's got like a whole fucking like colon description of who he is. You know what I mean? Like he's got adjectives and stuff attached to his name.
Yeah, that's awesome. That makes me really want to watch the Scientology movie now.
You should watch it, man. Yeah, they should make that a movie.
I mean, like the actual movie, like where we can get a movie of all the stuff that he did
with the special effects and CGI. Man, that should be fire, man.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would totally watch that.
That sounds right.
I'm surprised it hasn't been made yet.
Probably because nobody wants to, the fact that they believe this pointed to. They don't want to be like, oh, what's this? Where did this come from? Oh, this is what Scientologists believe.
Yeah. I don't know if you're just joining the podcast, you're probably like, those two dudes sound really, really judgy.
We do.
We're just kind of
this is bad.
Yeah, it's all right. But I don't know, is it wrong to judge or well, judging means there's a negative like a connotation to judge.
Yeah.
How about have like an opinion about absurd things?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of the stuff that I believe, if I just told somebody, they would probably think it was absurd too.
Exactly.
And I totally wouldn't blame them for making fun of it.
Yeah, no, I've said in the podcast, anytime that you start talking about certain things out loud, particularly with the spiritual or religion, actually more particular religion. I think when you talk about spiritual stuff, it's like a universal language. I think if people hear it,
a lot of people can relate. Yeah,
I think everyone does. It's kind of like the sound of rain. Like it doesn't need to be translated. Like when you hear it, you're just like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But when you talk about religions out loud, people are like skeptic or whatever we were just doing, like making fun of Mormons and the Scientology. Now I'll make fun of Scientologists the day I die. I'm a little compassionate for Mormons. I would like to talk to someone and ask some questions. I would love to meet a Scientologist, but they can't. I don't think they can leave their compound or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they get locked down, man.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. They're like stuck. They can't leave.
Yeah, man. Ooh. Yeah, and then like if you're deemed as an enemy of the church or a suppressive person, that's what they use. If you're a suppressive person, then like let's say we're brothers. Yep. And let's say I'm a suppressive person, so I get on the internet and I'm like, this shit's fucking insane, right? And then I get labeled as a suppressive person by the church. You have to like old school Amish shun me forever.
Really?
Like it's done. Like you won't associate with me. Like you wouldn't talk to my my son, or if you had kids, I couldn't talk to them. Like it's just like we don't exist anymore.
Wow.
So that's one of the ways they get people to like kind of like not break ranks is because if they do, they know that their family that are die hard in the cult will no longer talk to them.
Yeah, so they like lose everybody.
They'll lose their like. Let's say it's like your son or daughter that's in there, and you know as soon as you try to get out or do something, they're going to shun you, then you're going to lose your daughter or lose your son. Ooh. Or if they have a child, lose your daughter and your grandson or whatever. Like they're no longer going to be in your life, and they're going to like talk junk on you and hate you and like all. It's not even just nothing, but like negativity towards you. So
that's almost as bad as like threatening to like kill the people you love if you leave.
Yeah. Well, they got it down. They do that, and then that's one of the. I think, what's it called? Disassociation from family is the easiest, like number one way to do brainwashing and cult building, or like tyrannical regime building. There's probably a fancy word for that, but I can't remember what it is. But that I was listening to some psychologists talking, like that's one of the first things that you do. Really? In any of those three things. Yeah. You like, if you don't do this, or if they don't do this, you have to break away from them, or whatever, this separates you from, so they don't pull you that way or whatever. And there's fear. Like, I think the real reason, like the psychologist was saying, it was because like, it's not, they don't, they use it as a deterrent, and they can say, if I'm like, hey, Scientology is fucking crazy, Zach, you gotta get out of there. Like I could actually take you out or whatever. Yeah. But that's one reason they wanted to shun you. But the real reason is fear of people going out, not even for like me to not even get on the internet and say fucking Scientology's dumb, is to keep me from even doing that and keep everyone in their place. And that's one of the best ways to do it, is with disassociation from your family.
Yeah.
Shunning.
Yeah, I mean that's scary. That would stop me.
Exactly, right. You sit there and talk shit about it, or in your head and be like, okay, I'm gonna go through the motions, but I don't really care about this. But like, what are you gonna do? Nothing. Like, if it was like, let's say like Andre's mom was like in it or whatever, and then I was too, and I try to get out, and then I know like, hey man, if I get out, like I'm not gonna see my son anymore. I'd be like, I'll just hang out in here. Like, you know what I mean?
You'd be like, well, this is better than that. So
exactly. Or let me try to plan some like great escape with everybody or something. But like, you have to start trying to convince, like, hey man, you guys sure?
What do you think about this?
You sure? You guys don't want to
start, but then they're afraid too, so they don't want to have these conversations with you either.
Exactly. So that's why like the different regimes, like the tyrannical regimes, do it, and like this,
Yeah.
In North Korea, this is real. This is like current and real.
I like how you start something with "This is real," by the way.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm not making this up. This is real.
I'm not exaggerating or making it up or anything. But yeah, in North Korea, it just slipped my mind. There's a term for it. They have a term for it, but basically, without knowing the vocabulary word, every day a North Korean citizen has to report or tattle on another North Korean citizen for something they did against the regime.
Every day they have to do that?
Yeah.
So they're also then relying on people they know
to tattle on them.
What?
Yeah, so like they do that to, like, I guess I'm assuming in my mind it's like military officers that could kill you, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So they do that to keep everyone in check. So the things that they're like tattling on them or reporting them are minor. They're more like, I think that Zach was speaking out against the dictator. I don't even know if they are in North Korea. Like, I'm sure he's got some crazy.
Yeah. Are there like repercussions to every time you get tattled on?
Yeah. Depending on what happens, but like the stuff that they tattle on is so minor because no one will do anything.
Yeah.
They can't even like talk. I could even get you in the back room and be like, hey man, the dictator, man, he punched me in the face and stole my candy. I don't think I like him right now. Like, we couldn't even have that conversation of discontent.
Because then I might go tattle on you, and geez.
But that's how these.
It's like everybody's constantly against each other. Then there's no unity.
Yeah. So apparently, like, it is a well-known fact. Apparently, any of those things, brainwashing, cult building, tyrannical regime building. Insert. I'm sure there's shades in between there, but that's the way to do it. Like, with that right into there.
I mean, if nobody can trust each other with any information.
Because we can't talk. We can't even spark discontent. Because you might go tell someone I'm going to get a shot. Because like I talked to him, hey, Zach's cool. He knows what's up. And you're like,
Yeah.
He's go tell on me and then I get like an 8K
say something, I'm like, I got my quota for the day.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm good. Yeah. So like you can't even have like the backroom meetings. Like I get like, whatever they did here back in the day in the 1700s. They're in my head, they're like either at a plantation or in a bar somewhere in like Boston. I'm not sure. It was probably in Boston. It's probably up. They definitely weren't down here. So yeah, I'm sure they're up there like in a bar, like looking around.
You're talking about like with the revolution and everything.
Yeah. You have to have a space and you have to be able to like, I'm going to get these 10 people together and talk without knowing that they're going to go tattle. Like they have to, I'm going to die. You have to have like space to like spark the revolution.
Yeah. I mean,
they take it away that way.
That was the thing. We had a lot of space here. We were way over here on the other side of the Atlantic, just like, hey,
that is true.
They can't hear anything we're saying.
Dude, the other day, Andre asked me, he was like, yeah, he was talking about the American Revolution in school a little bit. And he was like, well, why did Britain own us or control us or whatever word he said? And I was like, well, I tried to explain it to a 7-year-old and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, the idea that just because that we came from a place and moved over here and then like they control us and own us, like, blew his mind.
Yeah.
He was like, no, that doesn't make sense. You just leave that place and then you're in a new place.
Yeah.
And you do new stuff. And I was like, yeah. He's like, he didn't understand. Like,
well, yeah, he's used to like the idea that you have the freedom to leave, whereas they didn't leave; they were sent there.
Yeah, yeah.
There were people sent there.
Yeah, well, just the idea of being a colonizer, or like, he just didn't get it. He's like, why don't you? Yeah, and I was trying to explain it to him, and I was like, that's just how it was, man.
I think that's a good thing that he doesn't get it.
It's true.
He's like, this doesn't make any sense to me. That's good. That means
it's true.
You know, having no concept of being ruled over by somebody and all your actions having to answer to somebody.
But to be fair, he also doesn't have any concept of VHS videotapes. So I don't know.
I mean, that's good too. I think we're better off without VHS tapes anymore.
The other day he asked me, he was like, dude, he saw one. He was like, what's this? And I was like, dude, it's a movie. He was like, what do you mean it's a movie? I'm like, it was like whatever, like He-Man, whatever it was.
Movies are on the TV.
Yeah, it's like I don't even have a DVD player. Like, and we just stream everything. He's like, "What do? You stick this in the thing?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't know how exactly how it works, my man, but like these little things come up and they spin it, and the movie's on this black plastic." And he was like, "How's the movie on the plastic?" I was like, "I don't know, man." I was like, "I have no idea, dude." It was more confusing that the movie lived on the black plastic than it flies through the air magically to our Apple TV.
That's just amazing.
Like, you know what I mean?
In his head, it's like, that makes sense. The black plastic, nothing.
Yeah, because he was like, he's like, there's like waves. He's like, there's in pieces and waves. I try to teach him like, the best I can, because I don't even know what the internet is, really. You know what I mean?
No, who does?
Where's internet live? I don't know. Everywhere. I don't know. Like,
that's a great question.
Yeah, right. So like I explained it to him, like, like the little bits of the movie go through waves, and when it hits the little black box on our TV, puts them together and puts them on there. He's like, I buy that. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, yeah, they print the movie on this black tape, and then you spin it and it plays it. He's like, how can you print sound? And I was just like, I don't know, dude.
That's a great question.
I was like, I think I looked at him. I was like, I think you're blowing my mind.
It's blowing mine right now.
Yeah.
Because I got no idea.
Those are just the questions. Like, that's why it's fun having a 7-year-old that asks questions. Because I was like, I don't know how you print sound, dude. I don't know. But the fact that that's way, when you say it out loud, like, yeah, how do you print sound? I don't know. But like the fact that space particles fly everywhere and all the information's everywhere. He's like, yeah, of course. Like, duh.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I'm not ashamed to admit this, but I think I'm on the same page as him right now. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like,
how do you print sound, man?
It seems crazier to me to print sound.
Yeah. You're not going
to float through space into my TV.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to sleep tonight, brother.
Oh man. I'm going to be thinking about VHS tapes.
Never 99, bitches. That's how we blow your mind. Yeah, no, he just looked at me dead in the eye, like, how do you print sound, daddy?
I love that. I wish I could just think like that sometimes. Like, that's a great question.
Yeah, I try to teach him as much as possible, but every time I start like trying to teach him, or just like whatever, anytime in life, I'm like, yeah, I'm teaching him stuff. He just hits me with something like that. I'm like, you're the teacher.
Yeah, you're gonna have to teach me, man. I don't know.
That's why I tell him. It's like, dude. He's like, what do you mean I'm a teacher? I just tell him, it's like, my eyes get dirty, you get the dirt off. That's how I explain it to him. I'm like, you get the whatever I've learned. I can't explain it to a 7-year-ld. I can't personally yet.
Yeah.
But I was like, you just kind of clean my eyes up a little bit. He's like, okay.
All right.
Yeah. And, I have a notebook. I have lots of notebooks.
Yeah.
So to be fair, journals, notebooks, like I do a lot of it on my iPad now, because I got the sweet iPad Pro with a pencil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. But I like this is something like satisfying about like the notebooks, right? So I got a notebook where it's not super current. It's not every single thing. But like I'll go and I'll write these little things that he says, like, how do you print sound or something like that. And I'll just like put a little blurb about like what we were talking about. And like I go back and look at it. I'm like, dude, he asked some profound questions. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just like, this is crazy.
It's like whenever, I think it was probably when I was in like middle school, everybody was doing like quote books.
Yeah.
Do you remember did you ever do that? Like just write down crazy quotes?
Yeah.
And you just go back and you're looking and you're like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, somebody said this.
Yeah. I was thinking about, man, actually, I would go back and read it sometimes. I'm like, I need to get this published some kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, so people could read it because it's like a child's mind since he was 0 till 7. Asking questions that confuse dad. You know what I mean? And they're not hard questions.
But yeah, make a book or something. I'd buy it.
Not like where do babies come from? I mean, that's complicated. You know what I mean? There's a lot, but just like, how do you print sound on a VHA? How does the tape work? Like stuff like this, more things like that.
Questions that you don't really know the answer to. It's not as so much you're trying to figure out how to explain it. You're just like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time, like, I don't know.
That's good.
Yeah, it is. I think so too. Well, I tell them if I don't know, I don't know. And I'm like, we can figure it out this way, or we can not know it. Mm-hmm. And he'll say, I don't want to know. Or he'll say, let's figure it out, and then we'll go figure it out or whatever. Yeah. If we can. It depends on what it is. But yeah, someone told me like, oh, you shouldn't tell your son you don't know. And I was like, what do you mean? I was just like, I don't. I know a lot of things in relation to a 7-year-old, so like it doesn't happen frequently. But I was like, you gonna lie to him? I gotta tell him something. He asks me a question. Like, you want me to make up something, or
just tell him you're not ready for that information yet.
You can't handle that, man. It's like, I don't know what people that parent that way do. I don't know what you.
Well, it almost sounds like you'd have some sort of not a God complex is not the right word, but you want your kid to think like you know everything, and you're like this amazing source of information. But then they'd be confused. They'd be like, why has he not shared this with me?
Yeah, no,
like why did he not tell me that? Well, I would be upset as a kid. I'd be like, he knows everything, and he's only telling me a little bit. Like,
motherfucker. But yeah, especially now, why would you want to be that way when there's Google? Like, I could literally just ask this little thing here that's right beside me anything I want to know.
Like, you know what? I don't know. Let's find out, Google.
He's like, Dad, shut up. You're being a dick. Let me just Google it. I don't even want to know. If you're being, if you were being kind of a jerk, it's like, I don't even need to ask you, Dad. I got Google. Yeah. Dude, the other day, the last podcast, Sarah told me that she Googles phrases. Like we all do from time to time. And a lot of the time she gets nothing as a Google result. Like, it's just so obscure.
What kind of phrase did she have
I don't know, right? That's why she told me that. I was just like, I don't think I've ever Googled anything and got a 0.
No, I haven't either.
Even when I Googled nonsense, it's like, did you mean this? And it has all these lists. I'm like, I did mean that. I did mean that. But yeah, she told me that and it blew my mind. I was like, how can you Google? She said it happens frequently, I think is the word she used.
She needs to so what you're doing with writing down stuff that Andre says, she needs to write down all the stuff that she puts into Google that it has nothing for.
The ungoogleable sentences.
Yeah, because if you're stumbling Google, those things need to be remembered. Because one day we need to answer those questions.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't want to know.
I got you.
Sorry, I had a burn.
Burger.
It's like your last. I had a second
Bam, bam.
Bam, bam. So how did you get into like healthy stuff?
How did I get into healthy stuff?
Yeah.
Well,
because you lost a bunch of weight, didn't you?
Yeah. So like,
and I did too. So I thought we could talk about that. I guess we'll start the podcast now. 48 minutes in.
This is the start of the podcast.
Welcome. This is my main man, Dr. Zach Van Buren.
What's up, everybody?
Holding down Sarah's seat.
As hard as I can.
It's right there. Yeah. Don't you have a good story or a story?
Yeah. I mean, well, a huge part of how we got into it, honestly, I just went to, so I'm like super competitive, right? Like competitive fire is what feeds pretty much anything I do. Like, right now I go to the gym with my wife. I have to keep beating her stuff. Otherwise, like she doesn't, I don't even know if she knows this. She'd be mad at me if she heard me say this. Be like, what? You're trying to stay ahead of me? So, very competitive, but I went to
Is she competitive too?
She is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. She played more sports and stuff when she was younger than I did. But anyway, so I went to, it was like a little class or seminar with my dad. And it was all about like how to lose weight and how to get in shape and stuff. And we were both kind of fat. Like we were big, never really took care of ourselves before. And then we both got really competitive. There was an actual like competition where they gave away a prize of a Vitamix. Which, do you have a Vitamix?
Not anymore now, but
Vitamixes are nice.
It's like it's like a $500 blender.
Yeah, it's expensive.
You can make soups and ice creams in the blender.
So I was expecting, the winner of this competition is going to get like a $50 gift card. And they were like, no, here's a $500 blender that you get. And it's the person who loses the most weight in 30 days. And so I just went all in. I did everything they said. I started eating all these organic foods, all this healthy. He gave, like, we got a cookbook it was a chiropractor that sold the cookbook. It was a Max Living. I don't remember it's called the Advanced Plan or something. We did this cookbook. We started going to their workouts and doing all this high intensity interval training, everything, just bam, did it all in 30 days. And I lost like 14, 15 pounds or something like that. And I won the Vitamix.
It's all about the material gains.
It was. At first it was. And then at the end of the 30 days, I was like, I feel really good. I'm going to keep going with this. And I was like 19 at the time.
Gotcha.
So like still relatively immature, but I was just like, I'm going to do this. Started getting more into it, reading stuff, like learning about like why plastic is bad for you and stuff like that. And just figuring all the stuff about organic food. And before I knew it, I was like a year and a half in, I went from like 270 pounds to 185.
Nice.
Over the course
of 200 and what?
270 pounds.
Oh, nice.
To 185. And that was actually over the course of like a year.
Because I can see 270 on you would be pretty big, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's big for anyone.
I mean, yeah, it was a lot.
It's almost 300 pounds. So that's a big, I can't even see you weighing that much.
That was a lot. And so it was this journey of just like learning all this stuff. And there was actually several times throughout it where I remember getting like fed up with all the information, like where I'm like, I don't need to know all this. This is all stupid. But I just kept reading stuff. I kept learning. It was cool. And then actually probably about a year and a half in, after I'd lost all this weight, that's when I was like, I want to do this for a living. Because I was actually in college to be an engineer at the time. When I was doing all this, I was going to be either an electrical or a nuclear engineer. And I was in an engineering program and everything, doing calculus and learning how to use computer programs that build stuff for you.
Mathing it up.
Yeah, it was cool. And then I was like, you know what? No, I want to do this. And then one day I went to another, like one of those kind of seminar things my chiropractor did, like a little workshop. And some lady got up on stage and basically told a story of how she did the same thing I did. But instead of just like not being fat like I was, she like survived terminal brain cancer.
Whoa.
And I was like, that's huge. And I was like, if I can be a part of giving people that information to actually not just change their lives like I changed mine, but actually save their lives, I was like, that is a career worth going into.
Yeah, man. I was the same way. Like, I had pains. I had a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. I had like the good part is I don't remember what shoulder it is anymore. So that's a good thing. But it was really bad. You know what I mean? It's a good thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That is good. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't tell anymore. So I'm pretty sure it's my right shoulder. Right, shoulder pain so bad, like I couldn't drive with my right hand. I couldn't turn the steering wheel. I got so bad. I couldn't like lean on a wall or anything like that. So I had really bad pain. They had like the regular stuff, like, aches and pains everywhere, kind of wherever. But my shoulder pain was ridiculous. So I went to a chiropractor because I was like, no one can help me. Like every doctor I went to just told me I could mask it with some sort of drug or a shot. And at the time I don't know why, at the time I was like 19 or 20, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But like, what's wrong with me? Like I can't drive my right arm. Like, what's wrong with me? And everyone's like, no, there's nothing wrong that we can do, but you can do these drugs and shots and stuff. And I was like, well, I want it better. Like, I don't want to just take shots for the rest of it. Like, something's wrong. Like, if there's something wrong, I would like it to be more righter. You know what I mean?
More gooder.
Yeah, more gooder, man. Like, I don't want, you know what I mean? That's how my mind worked at the time. And then they were like, dude, one of the things is what pushed me, gave me a good push. One of the medical doctors was like, dude, if you stay in this much pain, you're just going to have to just accept it, just take it or get the shots and move on. And I was just like, what? Like, I don't know. Like for me, my personality, I was like, no, I don't work that way. I'm not going to just accept this. I was like, I'm like 19 or 20. I have debilitating pain in my shoulder. What the fuck's wrong with it? So I can fix it. Like, I want it to go away. Whatever it requires to fix it, I will do it. Now, I'm not saying I won't do anything, but like, what is it? And then no one can help me, or except for like to cover it up. So I was like, okay, whatever. I don't want to go down the pain pill path at 20 or whatever. You know what I mean? Right. So I was just I had laser beam focus anytime I saw anybody that knew smart words about health. Like, I was like, that guy knows a word. I'm going to go talk to him on my shoulder. You know, literally.
See if you had some answers that were different from what you heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone. Like, yeah. Well, everyone told me we don't know and there's nothing really wrong. So I was like, well, obviously there is. I'm like, it
hurts.
Yeah. A lot. Like, I can't use it. Like, in your arm is pretty important, particularly if you're right-handed and your right arm is like, it doesn't work. Yeah. So it didn't work. So then I was where I interned at. I used to be a strength and conditioning coach. So I was at work or whatever, and I was in between classes or sessions, and there was a chiropractor that came in to do a health talk, and I was just listening to him talk. I was on my break or in between classes. I heard him talk. I was like, oh, that guy knows some words. That sounds smart. That was always my criteria. He knows words. That sounds smart. Let's go talk to him. Right. So after, yeah. But fuck it, man. I didn't know anyone. I pursued everyone with like open, like, what do you got? What do you got for me? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I went to go talk to him, and I was like, yada, 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 yada. You know how it is. My shoulder hurts. I was like, blah, blah, you know, whatever. Patient ended up. And then he was just like, I was like, can you help me? He's like, I don't know. He's like, here's my card. He's like, make an appointment. I should like to try. And I was like, let's do it.
I'll let you try.
Yeah. And I was like, no one else.
See what happens.
No one else will try. I didn't even ask him how he was going to try.
Yeah.
I was just like, you're going to try? Me too. Let's do it. So I started going, anyways, I started getting adjusted or whatever, and under chiropractic care. And my shoulder pain went away in a couple of weeks, which was awesome, right? Mm-hmm. But then going into it, I didn't tell this part of the story. Like even since I was my son's age, I had really bad allergies, and then I developed asthma when I was like 19. When I was like 18, had my first asthma attack. Who does that?
Wow. What the fuck? Yeah, it's kind of late.
Yeah, right. So then I had got debilitating asthma. So I used to use my emergency inhaler about 8 times a day, which is off the chart. I think the last time I did a chart, 8 was like the maximum. So I was literally off the chart. Wow. On emergency like respiratory events I was having per day. So I had really bad asthma, like really bad, like, you know, change your life asthma. Anyway, so then like I didn't even bring that up to the dude. I'm just like, dude, my shoulder hurts real bad, bro. You know what I mean? Like, can you help my shoulder, man? So anyway, so I started doing whatever he told me to do. I did all the things, and then my shoulder pain started going away, and then it was gone. And then like one day I woke up, and then like my allergies were gone. I could breathe, and like it wasn't goo coming out of my nose. And then that was what was causing my asthma. It was from the drainage,
like constant sinus drainage.
Yeah, the drainage caused the irritation, caused the asthma, or was like the catalyst for it. And then my asthma went away. I haven't had an asthma attack since the 3rd month of I started getting care.
Wow.
So yeah, it went
That's
away.
awesome.
Yeah, my shoulder felt better. I was just like, WTF is this? I was just like, dude, what did you do? Like, what is happening? And he was real cool, man. Like he would like talk to me and teach me stuff. Like just like, you know, I was sitting there chilling like we are right now. He would teach me stuff. And I was just like, kind of the same thing. I was like, man, if I could help people just like be healthy or like not suffer like I did. Cause I was like, if I would have got adjusted when I was 6 or 7, then I wouldn't have had breathing problems for the whole time in my head. So I was like, I would like to do that. And I was like, how does one do that?
What do I need to do?
Yeah. Then he told me, and then like, you know, I went and did all the stuff, and like, that's how I got there. But I think it works good when people do it like you do. Like when you do, I tell patients this all the time. They're like, what's the thing I need to do? And I'm like, all the things, all of them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's how people get massive results. Like if you want massive results, like some people disagree with me when I say this, like when you like tiptoe or ease into something, that's kind of bullshit. Like it's like, like you're not in, and then you don't get the results you want, you know, and you end up usually quitting until you go all in usually, you know what I mean? So like, I tell everyone go all in to get massive results, massive impact fast. Like you did, you're like, I did all the things. Yeah. I did this, I did that, I did that. You did all this stuff and you got the result.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference is it's the reason that people quit when they just tiptoe and go a little bit in. It's not just because they're not all in. It's because they don't really care about what they're doing. Yeah. So like when people ask me, they're like, somebody actually the other day, a patient had, cause I've been working out a lot even recently and kind of getting back in shape and stuff. And, somebody asked me, they were like, so how can I lose weight? What can I do? And I was like, what do you like to do? What's fun? Like what sort of physical activity do you like to do? What do you enjoy? And he's like, honestly, I just like taking really long walks in the woods, going hiking, stuff like awesome, that. Dude. And I was like, just go do that. I was like, do it. Set some time aside, you know, maybe every day or every other day where you take like 30 minutes to an hour, just go walk in the woods and just do that. Be physically active. I was like, how often do you do it now? And they're like, oh, he's like, maybe once a month I get to go outside. I just do it all the time. It's like, do it more often, set some time aside, be intentional about it and enjoy it. And then before you know it, you'll be spending more time doing that. You'll set more time aside to do it. Then you'll be like, you know, I'm going out hiking later today, man. I need to make sure I get a good healthy meal in before I go. And then, you know, so you start thinking about all these things you do to fuel that thing you enjoy. And then before you know it, you are all in because you care about that as a part of your lifestyle, not just hey, I'm trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
Let me do a couple things to lose weight.
Yeah. 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 You got to dive in, man. Tony Robbins says to get the results you want, you have to be obsessed.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be like, like just totally obsessed in your thing. Like whatever your thing is, it can be anything, get whatever you want. But like the people that are awesome or like high level achievers in the thing are obsessed with it, you know? So,
but you'll never be obsessed with something you don't like.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like you have to just like be all in on like, and just like think about it and like do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't have a problem with that. Whenever I get into something, I'm like,
let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the same way. Like that's why it worked for me, because I have a one track mind. I was like, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing now. And I went in and I will admit in that first 30 days, it was actually about winning. It had nothing to do with my results were a means to an end to win. But then after I did that, I was like, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I enjoy being healthy and learning all this stuff. So then I just got obsessed with health and I just learned everything.
So do you think you wanted to, in the competition, you wanted to win, or you wanted to win the Vitamix? Like if it was a different prize, you know what I mean? Like, or was this like, no, I'm going to do this and win, or did the prize matter?
At first, that first day when I was deciding how seriously I was going to take it, it was the prize, because I was like, that's pretty cool. It's like an expensive prize. But to be honest, I never cared that much about the Vitamix, because I only started caring about that after I won it. I realized it was going to help me do more healthy stuff.
Aha.
So it wasn't the actual prize. It was winning.
Okay. That's what competitive people are about.
Yeah. And it was also more specifically about beating my dad.
That's true. You can't let dad win, man.
Yeah. Because he was going all in too. He was doing all the same stuff I was. And I was like, I have to do a little bit more.
This much more than that.
Which, I mean, I think in that 30 days, I lost 14 pounds. He was close. He lost like 12 or 13.
I was just about to ask you, like, how close was it?
He was close. He was very, very close.
But was he willing to do what it took to get those last ones off when you knew you're like, I'll do anything? Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what's going to happen.
That's a good question. And I never asked
You should ask him, like, were you willing to not eat for 4 days? Like, right before the weigh-in? Because I would have. Like,
I would. Shoot, I would not eaten the whole 30 days.
That's what I'm saying.
Like 30-day fast. Here I come.
Here it is. I did a 3-day fast because I was peeing out of my butt for 3 days.
I don't know if that counts. That was an accidental fast. That was I can't eat fast.
Man, got the freaking kid stomach bug, dude. It jumped up in me like.
Yeah.
And
that just sounds not fun.
No, man, he wouldn't let it go, man. One thing that was really awesome when I first met you, well, not when I first met you, when I found out that you really are in, speaking of like going all in on board games.
Oh, yes.
Because I don't have too many friends that are like really into like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. And if they are, they don't ask me anymore, because I'm like, you want to play? I'm like, no, man, like it's you guys got like a whole world built. Like it's big time. And they've been playing every Monday night for 7 years. I'm like, y'all have like a whole thing going. I can't plop into fucking Lord of the Rings like halfway through, like, you know what I mean? Like, this doesn't work.
It's a little intimidating too when people are really into stuff like that.
Yeah, but they have like it's a continuous game. You know what I mean? Because they have like the same people.
So they've been okay.
They have a huge world built, like literally. And I'm like, I can't just plop in like in the sequel. You know what I mean? That's not cool.
New character.
Yeah, here I am. So you were asking me. I'm just gonna get a little 1792. Oh, 1792. We love you. It's been a minute. Me and Sarah have not been doing that. I'm just going to get a little taste of bourbon. You guys want to hear it? Oh, you can hear it.
Yeah. The pour action in there.
Yeah. I got this fancy champagne glass to drink it out of.
I was going to ask you about that. I was like, that is not a normal whiskey drinking glass.
Yeah. I have whiskey drinking glasses. I just saw that, and I saw it at Target for like $2. And I was like, I need that.
It's like I always imagine what they see in the movies. It's like the little whiskey jar with like a little one cube of ice in it.
Yeah, I have the little thing to make the 1 cubes and the big ones. Yeah, I have all that stuff. I just like this one in my, really, I picked it up and just felt good in my hand. I was like, this feels like a good glass. So the first time I used this glass was on the podcast. It was in February, because it was the weekend that I went on that bad first date where I got really, 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 really drunk.
You're talking about right before Valentine's Day?
Yeah, because the next day I was supposed to go hang out with you.
Yeah, you were supposed to come play board games.
Yeah, that's see, connecting the stories, guys. But yeah, like, so I was in here drinking. I was like, I don't know how much that is. Is that one? That's one drink, right? Or is that 2 fingers in the glass I got? But I feel like, I don't know.
That's probably still one drink. That's
Yeah,
like a
'cause it's
little
skinny.
bit more than a shot. So like,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
a
what I'm
little
saying.
bit more.
So like when people are like, "Oh my God, you're drinking," I'm like, "Man, this is like barely anything." You know, I mean, like throughout a whole podcast, I maybe have like the equivalent of like 2 to 3 drinks.
I gotta pull out all my old serving memory of
I'm
the
just a
ABC
lightweight.
license.
I only drink alcohol when we do the podcast. So like I'm a lightweight. So like I drink like 2 drinks. It looks like I'm like, I'm gonna drink the whole bottle, man. I'm like, just two drinks, man. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, this glass. I had it in my hand, and then the first time we used it on that podcast, I got really, really drunk accidentally. I got so drunk, and then like she came over. Like I told you, we drank the wine. We went out on a date, drinks, and then the next day, I didn't tell this part in the podcast. So if you're listening to the story, you guys know. Check it out. It's called Pagan Valentine's Day. You'll go back on that one, and I got really drunk on the Valentine's Day date. But the part I didn't tell you guys, the next day I was supposed to go hang out with my man's here, Dr. Zach. I was supposed to go over there and play some board games to get down on some nerd shit. And then I just was too fucked up.
Yeah.
I was just too fucked up.
It was sad. Me and my buddy Brian had to do it all by ourselves.
Yeah, I'm sorry I left you, man. I thought I could make it, but like the couch was just like, it was one of those times. But
yeah, it's okay though. You came over another time. He had to bail, so then it was just me and you.
Yeah,
but you got a taste of a cool Star Wars board game. So
you got a little taste of Nerd Town.
Yeah.
See, but like it's not even nerdy anymore. Like all that stuff is so like mainstream. So like I don't even know how do you even be a nerd now?
Honestly, I don't know. Because like
what do you like in high school? Oh, you're a nerd. Like you like Star Wars. It's like no, everyone likes Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars is basically mainstream.
Oh, it's
now.
Basically, it's got a Disneyland park.
Yeah, you're right. It is totally mainstream now.
I mean, like X-Men, they used to be nerdy. Like when I was a kid, I love comic books. Like, oh, you read comic books? I'm like, hell's yeah, dude, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like Star Wars, I'm like, yeah, dude. Why don't you like it? But now, like, I don't even know what would make you a nerd. Not liking those things, like I don't even know.
Maybe being into Star Trek, I think, still makes you a nerd.
Oh, it's Trekkies, man. You just can't be a Trekkie. I never got into Star Trek. None of them. Like,
or like you said, being super into D&D. That still kind of makes you a nerd because people are still like, whoa,
yeah, well,
D&D, I don't know.
Well, that's where I thought we were going, man. When you're like, hey, dude, do you want to come over and play some board games? And I was like,
whoa.
Yes.
I think.
I was like,
not sure.
I didn't know, man. I didn't know what I was getting into, man. I didn't know if I'd ever wear like a wizard's cap over and like, you know, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Put a cape and a cap on and come
I didn't know
over.
if you were going to like walk out like in cosplay. Like, I didn't know, man. Like I just see it on TV and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. But I said yes. I just was like, yeah, man, fucking in.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I went all into board gaming because it was a really cool outlet for me to focus all of, what I thought at the time was all my nerdy energy with also hanging out with people.
Oh, yeah.
Because like that's kind of what board games are all about. Like if you're just a nerd and all you want is nerdy stuff, you can go watch movies, you can read books, watch comic book or read comic books or play video games. You can do all that stuff by yourself. Board games are where, to me, it combines all the stuff that I like about the nerd world with chilling with people. And like hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah, you got to have someone to chill with. It don't work.
Yeah, I told you that. I told you there's solo board games. There's a lot. That's a huge thing now where people play board games by themselves. I've tried. I can't do it. It's missing like a whole half, or really to me, even more than half of what makes it appealing. You're hanging out with people.
Yeah, dude. I don't know how you would. I could play it.
No, it's weird. You're just sitting there like I am just moving cardboard around by myself. It's weird.
You like roll. Like, oh yes.
Yeah.
It's a 3.
I mean,
but like, do you even like celebrate rolling a 3 on a dice?
Right, because also you're by yourself. If you didn't roll a 3, you could just re-roll it until you get a 3. It's just it doesn't matter. It's all trivial at that point. So
yeah, you kind of blew my mind when you taught me about the solo board gaming.
It's a whole thing. People do it. People really like, and that's awesome. I wish I could enjoy it because then I could. I have a lot of the games I have like a solo variant or something where you could play it by yourself, but I just can't do it. I tried.
I mean, I get it, man. I play video games with myself.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, kinda. So the difference is that when you're playing a board game, like when you play a video game, the video game does all the work for you. You just push buttons. When you play a board game, you have to do all the work to figure out what's happening, like what's going on, what's the bad guy doing, what's that, what happens as a result of the decision you just made. Like you still have to do all the work. And I don't want to do that work. I don't have to. I'd rather let a video game do the work if I'm by myself.
That's fair.
So that's kind of, that's where I'm at with the whole solo thing. But a lot of people like it. It's a whole thing.
Dude, you got me, man. I came over. We opened up a brand new Star Wars game.
Yep.
What was it? The Outer Rim? Is that what it's called?
It is. Yeah, it's Star Wars Outer Rim. I'd never played it before. Opened it up and read the rule book right in front of you.
But I was
and
just
we went at it. So
I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't play board games. And then at the end of it, like, it was awesome, by the way. Just like throw that out there. It was super fun. But the next day, that night, and for like 3 days later, I couldn't stop thinking about strategy. That's how awesome it was. I was like, yeah, it was super fun. But that night, I was like, ooh, next time I'm gonna roll 3.
Right.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna upgrade this. I'm gonna go swoop around this way. I'm gonna get them.
Yeah.
I was like, the whole like for like even the next day at work, I'm out bouncing around in between patients. I was like, okay, I need to make him stronger on this. Get Lando Calrissian here. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like,
upgrade my ship. And
yeah, I was just like, dude, why am I thinking about this so much, man?
It's kind of like it shares that in common with video. Like, I don't know if you ever think about video games after you're done playing them, but it kind of shared that with it. But it's different because you're like, next time I get to play with this person, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, no, I think about it more.
It's totally different.
It is different because you're going against like a human.
Yeah, and
like,
it takes over more of your mind space because you're just like, man, I'm going to beat him, or he's going to be thinking about this too. So, you have to, it's cool. I like it. It's more, to me, it's more interesting than any video game that I could play when I'm actually playing with another person, a human that can, change stuff.
Yeah.
And do things.
Yeah. I mean, you get competitive and it's always different. Yeah. And then like, there's like little strategies and motions and you get to like pick on people, if you beat them, oh snap, you give it a throw burn on them or something.
You still haven't gotten exposed to the other part of board gaming, which is the cooperative board gaming, which is actually big nowadays too.
I don't even know what that means, man.
Like
going co-op on board games, dude?
Yeah, where you're working together, where the bad guy is some sort of system of, in the game, where the bad guy is run by a system and me and you are working together. That's a whole thing in board games.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. And it's cool too. So it's weird though, because you're not like, afterward you wouldn't be thinking, man, I'm going to have to do this thing I got to beat Chris. I got to figure out how to beat him at this. He's good at that. No, it's like, next time I'm going to tell Chris we should do this.
Yeah.
And then we'll beat the system, It's totally different, but it works. There's a whole system of board games out there. There's a really popular one, actually. I think that became kind of oddly enough more popular than last year, called Pandemic.
Okay.
That's been around. It's like the monopoly of like more modern designer board games. But it's like one of the first big co-op games. So you would sit down with 2 to 4 people and you're all working together to like destroy a pandemic. Literally, you're trying to destroy these diseases that are trying to take over the world and stuff. And it was a super simple system, super easy to learn, fast, kind of hard though, like really hard to like actually beat. And it just sparked this whole thing of like cooperative games, and they're awesome.
Dude, I've never heard. You blew my mind.
Yeah, they go from stuff like that to just being super nerdy. Like the one I was going to have you play, it's probably, I think it's number 1 board game in the world still. It's called Gloomhaven. So it's like
it sounds like there's like an elf, a dwarf.
Well, there are magical creatures,
a black mage,
but it's kind of like the D&D style nerdiness, and kind of like D&D. Actually, you're working together and doing stuff, but the bad guy is just a system. You don't have to have a game master running stuff. You don't have to worry about jumping into some world. You're like, I don't know what's going on. It's just super easy.
Have you ever played like D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons?
I have not played.
You do have like a dude that doesn't do anything except narrate the world, right? And create it.
Well, kinda. So, and see, that's the other thing is, honestly, before I played it, I didn't really understand what it is. And I think more people would be interested in D&D if they understood how it actually worked. So I also didn't play D&D like Dungeons and Dragons, like in the D&D world. I played the Star Wars RPG.
Okay.
Which is similar to D&D, but in the Star Wars universe, which to me, right off the bat, made it like a million times cooler.
I was going to say way cooler.
I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Like, I'm going to be a bounty hunter. It's going to be awesome. So basically the way it works is it's not, the game master is not really narrating the world. It's actually D&D, any sort of D&D game, RPG, any of that stuff. They're all just called tabletop RPGs, tabletop role-playing games. That's it. There's thousands of them. And all you do is the game master and the players work together to tell a story. That's it. So you're all collectively working together to tell an awesome story. The characters tell the story by deciding what their character is going to do, and the game master helps tell the story by setting the scene and kind of being like, oh, here, this happens now. This happens now. What are you going to do? This happens. What are you going to do? And you go, I'm going to do this. And you do it. And then everybody makes the decisions. And before you know, you got an awesome story. That's it.
But it's not a game. That doesn't sound like a game. Like there's not a winner.
So, well, you're right. There is no winner. It's not like it never ends in the sense that, oh, hey, now somebody has won. But that's not the point. When you watch a movie, like you enjoy a movie, not because, somebody win. Like you enjoy a movie because it's entertaining. It's a good story. That's the same reason you would enjoy an RPG, is to enjoy the story. The game part is in the dice rolling. So your person has like skills and stuff they're good at. And basically over time you get experience and you get better at these things. And basically all these skills do, it's just all numbers modifying like rolls to make it more likely you're going to succeed to do something. It's like a never ending show.
Yeah, kind of. It's like a show that's been on for like 13 seasons.
Exactly. Yeah. Or more.
It's 45 minutes per episode.
Yeah. The only difference is you have no idea what's going to happen. Everybody's kind of coming up with it as they go, except for the game master. They have to plan.
Gotcha. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah. I watched it. I watched all of it.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with it.
Yeah, it's good. But I guess their 10-year anniversary. Like now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like right now. Since
Man,
the first,
it's crazy. It's been 10 years.
I know, right? As soon as they said that, I was like, fuck. That's before my son was born. I'm like, that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Time flies.
So they made like a new trailer for season 8. I think 8, whatever, the last season. I think it's season 8, the one that everyone hated, the final season. But they made they released like a new trailer just for that.
For the last season?
Yeah. Like it was just coming out.
That's cool.
Yeah, but then
was it good?
Yeah, it was good, but because it was not like there were spoilers in it, so you can see because everyone's ever seen it. So, but I forgot what to say. But there's this huge petition, like they want like this. There's this petition online, to just retcon the
whole season 8.
Yeah, and do it again. Like everyone went back in it. People are like, we don't care if everyone's like 5 years older or 6 years older. Mm-hmm. We're good.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. So like, I was like, I don't think that's obviously that's not gonna be a thing, but I was like, I would watch that.
I would too.
Yeah. Well, I would watch. They have 3 prequels coming out. 3 side spinoff. Well, I know it's 3 spinoffs. I don't know if they're all prequels, but those are coming out pretty soon. So that'll be pretty fun. I don't even know. Like there's so much history. Like I don't even know. Like I don't even know.
Well, I think part of what they're going to try to do, or at least this is what I'm hoping for, because the part of season 8 that I think I didn't like and that a lot of people didn't like is there was just a whole lot of these like juicy plots and stuff that were like promising to be super juicy that just like stopped. And it's like, oh yeah, remember all that cool White Walker stuff? We're just gonna forget that. It's out. And then. So I feel, I feel like everybody kind of feels let down by how that kind of just ended and nothing came of it. So I think with the prequels, they're actually going to try to bring all that juiciness back.
Ooh, give me the juice. But how can we? Because we know it ends so.
Right. So I think the idea is they're going to give us more details as to how all this stuff, or at least I think this is what it, because I know at least one of the prequels is supposed to be about the North and like the Wall and like the Night Watch and stuff up there. So
when Bran the Builder made it or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. So it's going to be about why the Wall was built and what was actually going on to require that to happen. Which to me already sounds juicy because anything about the White Walkers, I'm like, oh yeah. Let me see what's going on.
Yeah, get some old magic. You get some first humans in there, man. Like it's pretty good stuff.
So I think that's what they're going to try to do is bring back all the juiciness to hopefully at least take all the people like me who are like salty nerds and just like, shh, over here, just watch this.
This is going to be delicious.
Yeah, just enjoy it. And then we'll forget about the fact that we weren't super happy with season 8.
Yeah, man. Like a lot of people didn't like that. Not seriously. Khaleesi.
Daenerys.
Yeah. Like she turned to the Mad Queen, but they did it so fast. A lot of people thought it was so fast it didn't seem real. So like they didn't get that because that would have been cool if they would have done a better job. Yeah. Because that's was her dad or grandfather. I can't remember. Like he was the Mad King, she's the Mad Queen. That's kind of cool. Like I get that. Like I wouldn't be like, oh God, I hate that. That's pretty cool. People hated that, and then people hated the last like 30 minutes of the show. It was like, who's gonna be king? For her. Oh, it's gonna be Bran. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of.
And he was just like, "Why do you think I've come all?" Almost like what it felt like to me was like they were like, "Man, like not even in the writing of season 8, but like they were doing the last episode and they were like, oh dude, we forgot to write an ending. Like, how are we going to end this? And that's like a reflection of what the writers were actually doing. Go, who's going to be king? I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be.
They're like, oh, let's just make a brand and let's make it sound like he did all of this. What is it called? What was he called? The Raven's Eye or something like that?
Third Eye Raven.
Yeah. Three-eyed Raven.
Yeah.
We did all this stuff so he could be king. And he was just like, why do you think I've come all this way? And I was like, not for this.
No, you're the three-eyed Raven. You're supposed to be the preservation of the memories of humanity.
You didn't come all this way to be king. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, because that's what the what was the guy? The Night King wanted to kill him because they would basically delete humanity's memory, right? Because he was the memory. Yeah.
He was the one who had it all within him. So
like, that's the reason he existed. Like there was a lot. There's so many open stories on that it was kind of lame.
Yeah, and it's not to me that so much of it was bad. It just, I can tell when I'm watching that last season, I can feel the writers just rushing the ending and being like, you know what? Let's just do this. Because like the whole Daenerys becoming the Mad Queen, totally cool with it. As a matter of fact, they alluded to that the whole time the show was running. The reason I had a problem with it is because it did happen fast, and because especially toward the end, like season 6, season 7, they were focusing so much on how she wasn't going to be the Mad Queen, how she was better than that.
It's true.
And they actually made her better in your mind. And then at the end, they were just like, it just literally came down to her going, no, like getting mad and just like, no, I'm going to burn the city.
Yeah. It was like her whole character arc didn't exist.
Yeah. Like it was just like, oh, never mind about all the progress she made. We're just going to ignore that and make her the Mad Queen. It didn't feel genuine. It didn't feel like a genuine build to being Mad Queen. It just felt more like a mistake. Like she had a lapse in character kind of thing, you know, or lapse in judgment, and just like all of a sudden decided to burn the city. I was like, I don't know, that's kind of a big lapse in judgment, you know?
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I mean, I wasn't one of those that was hating on it. Like, on
I didn't either.
It came out.
Yeah,
but like now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, this last season was kind of bullshit.
And that's my position. Like, I don't like to be one of the angry, salty nerds about anything. I like to just enjoy stuff.
We should make a podcast called Angry Salty Nerds. Or just Salty Nerds.
Yeah, just salty nerds.
I don't want to be angry.
Yeah, I don't want to be angry. I'm okay with being a little salty, but angry is not really my thing. So, yeah, that's kind of how I was with Game of Thrones. Same way I was with the new sequel trilogy for Star Wars. It's like, I'm not happy with it. I'm like, this could have been better. This could have been better. But it's also like, if someone was like, hey, do you just want to sit down and watch these movies? I'd be like, yeah.
Yes,
Let's do it.
You know, when I first watched the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, I was like, it's okay. Like, it's got its problems or whatever. But like, me and you talk about it at work all the time. Yeah. The more we talk about it, I'm like, it fucking sucks.
I know.
Man.
That's the problem with it, is that I had come to, and this is why all these conversations I've had with you have rocked my Star Wars boat.
Sorry, man, but like,
because I had finally reached this like inner peace where I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with these movies, and then we talk about it. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm not cool. I'm not satisfied.
That's not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it could have been so much better, and then I realized that I am totally still salty. Not angry, but I'm definitely salty.
A little salty, a little salt on the nerds, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Star Wars. Hey, buddy, you're hungry. Well, that's the universal sign that the podcast is over.
Man, it's food time.
You want to come say hey? Did you fall asleep? Huh? You look like you fell asleep. Hey, buddy. What's up, man? Say hey to the podcast.
Hi.
You get your face closer than that. If you want something good to eat.
Hi.
All right,
there we go.
We did it, man. All right, check us out, never99.com. No numbers, all letters spelled out. Tell people we're awesome.
Look out for Salty Nerd.
Boom! Salty Nerd. Peace out, guys.